nos debe marcar sin costo al 1-800-331-2188.
All right, as you can see, nice hour. It is 6:32 right now. The temperature is pretty warm. It is 26 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a warm day for us here in Chicago, in Chirac, in a city that is 3 times as violent as New York. The murder rate is triple. The murder rate is quadruple of Los Angeles, and the murder rate exceeds is much worse than Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo, and yet one of the most friendly cities in the world. How do we reconcile this? Well, it's the Wild Hundreds. It's the Southwest Side. I don't want to give Lawndale, a little village, or Pilsen area a bad name, or Humboldt Park. Although Humboldt Park's been getting better, but because those are the areas I grew up in. But and confined to places like Rogers Park. If you go downtown, if you visit here, and you go downtown to the Loop, you'll be fine. Even some South Side areas like Beverly and Bridgeport, you should be fine. If you know people down there. But I digress. This isn't about Chicago. I'm thinking about setting up a Patreon account to make better videos, more informative videos, where I can go through, I can show statistics and maps and stuff like that, and actually detail many things. Now, at this point, I don't even have a laptop. I try to set up Patreon and be transparent as I possibly can, without, doxing and things like this. But I would urge help from those who are fans of mine, at John the Hut Dweller, at Yusuf Al Tahir, at Yusuf Reyes, and again, well, John the Hut Dweller was a name, like a channel name, and then the other two were variations on my given name, and you know the story beyond that. I hope everybody does, but I don't consider this begging because the content goes back to you, right? And of all my Patreon subscribers, I also or potential Patreon subscribers, I welcome them on the channel as well in live streams to air their voice, and I certainly will give access, try to bolster theirs. But I believe it's extremely important to give a voice to where there was no voice. We just had two fanatical views the same fanatical view of Christianity, the 7,000-year-old creationist who believed God is a man in the sky, and then the atheist who's straw man, because I don't even think the creationists believe that God is a man in the sky. At least the vast majority of them don't. And then you have the atheists who'd say, no, the fundamentalist Protestants are right, even though the Bible is science, even though the science did not exist until thousands of years after the Bible was finished being written. Also, it'll be a historical channel, speaking about things like the Cristero War, the horrors that went on in El Salvador in the 1980s, what happened with the Sandinistas and the Contras, dispelling the myths of the Inquisition, the Crusades, what Christianity actually is, and what the historical view of Christianity is, which is unknown to the West. I mean, forget about the atheists and the fundamentalist Protestants, but historical Christianity almost doesn't get recognized as being Christian. They see us as Zoroastrian or Buddhist or New Age or Taoist, which in some ways is a compliment, but in other ways it just shows how narrow things have become and how narrow the definition is, and people assuming things like they know what sin means, or that Jesus Christ dying is a bloody sacrifice to appease an angry God who is anthropomorphic. I mean, that is just silly. They believe this is universal among Christianity, and they don't realize it, or that the Puritanism and the Puritanicalism does not come from historical Christianity. It comes from the Puritans. To a large degree, that influenced modern atheism, and modern atheism is a very puritanical view of the world. It's where it came from. It's stripping down to the festivals and getting down to brass tacks and addressing sola scriptura. I mean, sola scriptura is a ridiculous notion, and we'll dispel with that. But I would like to bring on atheists as well, but those who actually have something to say, like Suicide for Celluloid, Big Lundy, because again, it's more to open people's minds. It's also to get the message out of the beauty of history and the necessity of religion, because man is a religious animal and we can't escape it. And trying to escape it leads to horrors like North Korea, Stalinist Russia, or even Trotskyist Russia, or Leninist Russia, or even Khrushchev's Russia, as well as places like China had been for so long, and it leaves a vacuum. Man is a religious animal, and man needs religion, and will create it even in a vacuum. Man will found a religion, and usually without the input and the knowledge and the respect for the ancestral traditions, it becomes monstrous, because the cult of personality comes up, and the cult of communism basically comes up, and you get these horrible things. But yeah, that's just what I want to primarily focus on this channel. And I also, it won't be, this will not be an evangelizing channel, and it will be going more in depth on the Yazidis and the Mandaeans, not as a way to, be critical in the scholarly sense, but not in the let's deconvert them and force them to be Christians. Again, we are not evangelical Protestants, so even though I believe this show will benefit evangelical Protestants and they will like it, some of them, but the Zohar, it's good for us to understand and to appreciate where the Zoroastrians are coming from, where the Yazidis are coming from, where the Mandaeans are coming from. And I know many people who are of these, since I'm Antiochian. We kind of all suffer the same horror when ISIS tried to destroy our religion. And it almost succeeded, just like Hitler almost succeeded wiping out European Jewry. So, they will be on. And of course, I would invite Lutherans and Roman Catholic, the Latin Rite and Eastern Rite, and even those who use DMT in religious services, those from Brazil, as well as psychologists. It's basically reclaiming religion and culture, because, as I say, religion and culture are the same thing, and in many ways, what people call religion or classify as religion has no difference than a political party, because I think most of the people in the Western rationalistic, cynical world view religion as a form of substitute for either science or tribalism. And I'd have to say that political parties, especially what we've seen in this last election, truly, show that they are, if that's the definition of religion, they are the two most religious religions in the world, being the Democrat and the Republican, or should I say the pro-Trump, or never Trump and never Clinton factions. All right, peace to you. Again, if this is not about converting atheists to Christianity, because that is not the goal. I don't think that's ever been the goal. Well, and certainly never been the goal of my channel. But we'll be speaking to the people who maybe they're atheists, right? I mean, I said there'd be atheists on the channel. They'd be welcome, and I'd love to do, hang out with them and put it on the channel. But it is not geared towards trying to, get the Amazing Atheist and Jacqueline Glenn to be Christians, because I don't think they know what they don't know what historical Christianity looks like, nor does Sam Harris, for that matter. I mean, he talked about Joe Rogan talked about Constantine being the one that compiled the New Testament. Well, this is laughable to 99% of my listeners. It just didn't happen. I mean, atheist historians and atheist scholars say this. I mean, this is just a meme or a cliche that's been going around. That was started by the puritanical Protestant fundamentalists, and it just kind of became accepted as, hey, it's common knowledge, just like, Abraham Lincoln discovering America on the Mayflower is, hey man, it's common knowledge. So there it is. Peace to you. Thank you very much, and may God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland. Let me know what you think.